Let's talk about this epidemic of loneliness. Why is it that we are more connected than any civilization in probably human history has ever been, yet we feel the loneliest that we have ever felt? All of the sudden, we have become individualistic. We only think about our needs. We Everything has come down to now there's a separation between us and other people. Now you don't see someone as this is part of me too. This is part of my community. I wish them well. They wish me well. All of the sudden we're in this contradiction of oppression and ganging up against each other. And why is it? Why is it that our friendships have become so much more difficult? Why is it that people don't put in effort? Why is it that we're attracting all of these things? At the end of the day, it's so important to have a community around us. How many benefits are there to having a community around you? So, in the worst of cases, in the worst of times of your life, you are still able to say, but I have someone behind me. Someone is there. Someone is helping me through things. And all of a sudden now we do that, but we have these external and very superficial relationships. Before it was you're talking to your family constantly, you're talking to your friends, to your partner. Now it's I can switch my partner in a heartbeat. I can say, no, I'm not going to be your friend anymore. And all of a sudden, we're like strangers. Why is it that now that we have the liberty and freedom more than ever of genuinely choosing the people that are going to be on our side, why is it that we still either choose the toxic ones or we just act like people are replaceable? It's kind of no wonder we see so many jobs nowadays where it's like something can happen to you, the next day you're replaced. Like, do you realize that how many people like truly care about you and your well-being? Those people are crucial and important because let me tell you, you are important. You are valuable. You add everything to this world. The world is better because you're in it. And somehow along the way, we've forgotten that. We think that we need to prove ourselves. We need to prove our worth. We're only successful if other people deem it. We're only successful if we have external markers of success. But at the end of the day, that keeps us isolated. It keeps those people there, I'm over here, they're over there. We are constantly pulling ourselves from each other and from the real truth, which is you and I and everything in our world, in our planet, in our universe is simply one collective consciousness. We're all really just one, and we have the distorted thought that makes us believe that we genuinely are different than our neighbor, than a person on the other side of the world, than something across the universe. We are not different. We are all made up of the same materials. Let's talk about quantum physics and how everything is made of energy. You break down an atom, you break down molecules. What do you get? 99.999% open space. And what is that open space? It's an energy. So we are materials, we are actual physical matter in like the 0.0001%. Most of us, like practically all of our being, is that energetic spirit. So why do we put so much emphasis on that tiny little 1%? Not even 1%, like the 0.00001%. And the more that we amplify that, as we know, with our manifestations, the more we focus on something, the more that we create that. So all of a sudden you're thinking, I think of myself as being so different than that person, than that being, that all of a sudden you don't see how everything really in reality connects both of you. So how does this all relate to us having this epidemic of loneliness? This is also such a cultural piece. I mean, I feel like we have to talk about that. More cultures, more and more, are getting this individualistic tone where everyone's kind of fending for themselves, where you don't genuinely feel like you have anyone to pick you up in case you fall. You feel like when you're going out with friends, you have to put on your best suit of armor, In a way, you're kind of guarding yourself from just being vulnerably seen for who you are deep down inside. when you're able to show another human being the vulnerability that you carry inside, I'm not going to say that everyone's just going to accept it for what it is and everyone's going to love you for it. That's not, I feel like, the purpose at all. But it's you're doing yourself a service. Your spirit and your heart are genuinely putting out there what it was meant to give. Our vulnerability is like the warmest, gooeyest part of our internal selves. And the more that we relate to that, we relate to other people by doing that. How do we build friendships? How do we build these bonds? We talk in community. We base ourselves around each other. We use the energy of the person next to us to feed us too. We're all, again, one big collective consciousness. If we realize that and we took into account how much more similarities we have than how many differences we have, you would see that majority of the world is the same. And I know that that might sound so wild to you, and you're like, this person doesn't believe in this, and how can you say, like, this person has that religion, or this philosophy, or this way of living? Like, how can I say that? How can I make that bold statement? But at the end of the day, everyone is kind of the same. It doesn't matter your culture or your language or your upbringing. Of course, there are cultural aspects that make us, different or receive something well or accept something easier or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you and me are like so much more similar than we are different. So much more. We see these amphitheaters filled with people, all of the same age. Everyone that even looks similarly, that has grown up in similar cultures, and yet why are we still so repelled by just being vulnerable and creating those beautiful friendships from within? Who are we trying to impress? What trends are we following that are actually just digging ourselves in our own grave? Why is it that when we carry this spirit of openness, we're rejected by that? If I go up to someone and I'm talking to them, like a random stranger, all of a sudden we think that that's weird. Well, we don't do that. Well, what do you want from me? Well, what are you trying to sell me something? Do you want, like, we are so masked to this idea that we can't even have conversations with strangers and just think, wow, that was a good conversation. That's it. We are constantly feeling like we have ulterior motives, like people want to take advantage of us. And I honestly think it's because we do see that at such a larger scale. I mean, so much has come from the globalization of the world now knowing, what the other side of the world is doing, which of course has its benefits, but at the same time, we're constantly fed all of the negative stuff that's going on, and then from there we build these stereotypes. We build this feeling of you're different than what I am. And I'm not saying that historically it's been better, because think about it. You take someone from one end of the world, you put them in the other side, you think they're going to be like, whoa, we're all the same? No, they were hyper obsessed with everything that was different between them, rather than just embracing the fact that if you really think about it, most of us kind of carry our lives in similar way. You may call it a different thing, you may have different beliefs about it, but the core of what mostly everyone believes, I do think that that's genuinely all the same. I genuinely do believe that it's so much more similar than it is distant and difficult and weird and strange. We're communal beings, and I think that if we all remembered our collective consciousness, we would literally not even just move mountains, we would move universes. It would just be at the tip of our fingers, We would realize that everything that we think and we search for outside of ourselves, we would realize that every little bit of that is within ourselves. So back to this epidemic of loneliness, where more than ever, friendships, what are those? Like, yeah, maybe you keep the same friends since middle school, since high school. Maybe everything has come to this idea of we're so scared of making new relationships. We are terrified of being rejected. And of course, rejection doesn't feel good. It doesn't make us feel good. But I think that that's the problem, is that we think that rejection has something to do with our worthiness. And that's completely false. We are not worthy because of something that we have, because of a relationship, because of a friendship. We're genuinely worthy just because we are. We were born innately 100% worthy of all of our desires, of anything that we crave, anything that's been placed in our heart was placed there for a reason. Now we see relationships, like romantic partnerships, where it seems like left and right people are separating, they're starting new relationships. And have we thought, like, I remember this thought that came, or not this thought, I heard about it. And it was like sometimes the institutions are so overwhelmed that we don't even see their beauty anymore, you know? Like, how beautiful is it that a relationship is not meant to be handled like a transaction? How beautiful that in business you're able to have this creative spirit that maybe you're not going to have at home. All of this plays on different parts of us, you know, and all of those parts are beautiful. All of them make us real human beings. And then we have our family relationships. Again, more than ever, we're like going apart from our families, going apart from what we've always known. And sometimes, yeah, it is necessary. Sometimes you realize with time, you know, these people just aren't for me and you need to move on. But I'm talking about, do we have relationships anymore where we put in the work to keep them? If you think that a relationship is always going to feel good across the board, any relationship, if you truly have that delusion that everything is always going to feel good with the right person, with the right set of circumstances, you are someone that's going to believe that happiness is the point of life. Happiness is not the point of life, it's passive emotion. And passive emotions, we are not going to have one emotion for the entirety of our life. And that's not the goal. Think about the separation between our identity and our passive thoughts and feelings. These emotions come and go, but ourselves, our spirits, just like the truth that we find within our authenticity, there's a reason why that radiates at the highest form of vibration. It literally attracts people to us. We feel better. We're literally healthier beings. We make better choices. We have awareness and clarity. We heal ourselves from the inside out. How beautiful is it that we have been given all of those tools? We literally have those tools at our disposal. The only thing is that it's not mainstream, maybe, you know? Maybe it's not what all of the famous people are telling you to do, but we all do have that power within. And it is the most beautiful and the most powerful form that also connects us to other human beings. It truly is beautiful. And back to what I was saying about family members. What do you do in this case? You know, I've fallen out with my family, but who are going to be the people at the end of your life that are still going to be there for you? Not for what you can offer them, not for what's convenient, not because you're supposed to be there, not because you owe them something. Like, who's going to be around because they choose to be? And who are you choosing to be next to, you know? What are the friendships that you're planning to cultivate? And that's the thing, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes a relationship comes and you think it's the one. You think that you're going to be friends forever, and you're not. And you have to also release that and let that go, because not everyone is for you, but that also doesn't mean that no one is for you. People come and go throughout periods of your life, but we have to put more emphasis in actually working on our relationships rather than thinking that they're disposable, because a little bit of what we're seeing societally and culturally is just, yeah, just buy the next thing, buy the next thing, buy the next thing. What's going to happen when you have anything else to buy? When you think of objects as just being disposable, and then you start thinking of people in that same way, we will lose all human connection that we have. So we're still at that point where you can be choosing to cultivate beautiful, healthy relationships, where you can have the best friends that you've ever had, but this is the real point of this video. You have the power and the choice as to the kind of relationships you will hold in your life. You have the choice to not be lonely. You have the choice to actually embrace beautiful and amazing relationships. This is what it's all about, I truly believe. Build those connections with people. I know that it might be cringy, you might not want to, it might feel scary, you might be rejected, but again, the most successful people in this world, like external internal success truly, are the ones that can look at the people around them and still say, I am choosing to be one with you. I'm choosing to embrace something that you can also bring to me. I give you something, you give me something, we give, we take. There's so much beauty in relationships that we hold, and I truly would never want to see that go away. I would never want humans to lose sight of the power that we hold when we're in community. Because truly, like when we are all collectively, again, with our one consciousness, move together, the impact that we can make is astronomical. There's nothing that we can't do. All of a sudden, anything and everything becomes possible. But that's the thing right now, even when you're manifesting and stuff, you're doing it alone. You're doing it isolated. You're saying, well, I need to be a better person. And trust me, I've said that myself. I need to be a better person. I'm just going to work on me. What if we could work on ourselves with other people? What if we could work with ourselves and with other people at the same time? What if our manifestations would bloom and flourish if it was a group of 10 of us manifesting at the same time? Do you know the amount of energy that would be built up if we took rooms and rooms of people, we put them together and we put their collective consciousness to one thing? We would literally solve like world peace. We would literally be the calmest, most appreciative human beings because everyone would be working towards a collective consciousness. Everyone would be working to make themselves better, but also add to the world. If you think that you being successful is your story, you have to also think about how much more success you could have if you allowed other people to be a part of it. Not just success, literally by success, in a lot of this, I'm literally just meaning being a human, like being present, being joyous, knowing tools like to get you through the tough moments. If we're able to do that, that is magical. There's so much peace that could flourish. There's so much energy that we could create. We could create new forms of energy. And again, the more that we would place ourselves in situations where we're feeding off of each other's energy, how incredible would our lives be? How incredible would the world be? So this is honestly, I feel like the point of this video is start looking for that collective community around you. I know that it can be scary. I know that sometimes people are going to reject you. They're going to think you're weird, you're cringy, you're like, I know 1,000 reasons to not do this are going to come to your mind, but I also know that you will get a twitch in your mind that's telling you she's right. Like, even if it sucks, even if it's hard, even if people laugh in my face, if I continue to put myself out there with the best of intentions, I'm truly going to not only have a community, but I'm going to create that community. It's going to be based off of mutual energy that what I gave, they gave as well. And that is, I feel like, the true mask of beauty. So with all of that being said, thank you for watching today's video. I hope you got something out of it. Tell me how you've been feeling about this loneliness epidemic, because I know that you've been feeling it. And what are ways that you tried to move around it? You know, for some people, it's I can't even look or be on social media. Other people, it's I'm going to do service work and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do it well and I'm going to find a community of like-minded people that also want to help other people. What is it that you're doing in your life? What are the actions that you're taking in order to create more love and joy and friendship and relationship in your life? Because trust me, there's going to be people that read your comment and be like, I've never thought of that. I never thought about that. I didn't know other people were out there that would be cool with doing that too. So just be honest with yourself, embrace yourself authentically, and you will find amazing things happen in your life. Thanks for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.